I ain't exaggerating at all, man. That's real, son. That's real, yo. I ain't exaggerating at all, man. The more money you make, the more problems you get. And jealousy and envy is something that comes with the territory, man. A lot of people, it's just negative energy, like my man Puff say. It just surrounds you. It makes you depressed, you know? So I got to rap about it. And that's one of the bad things about the game is when you get large, even your friends will turn against you, man. So I made a song about it.
But I mean, how real is your threat of like people constantly coming and want to shoot
Oh,
you?
man. I mean, that's real. I think about that every day. Every day it's real. That's how real it is. I think somebody's trying to kill me. I'll be waking up paranoid. I'll be really scared. I'll just be paro. That's just the way I am. You know. You be seeing me. Scared to death.
All right, y'all. We back with another video, man. Y'all already know what's going on, all right? Now, y'all already know that we was going to talk about this. Now, I have to give that documentary my opinion, 10 out of 10. The way they tied everything together, from Pac to Biggie to the stampede that happened in 1991. I mean, if there wasn't a image of Diddy created already, this documentary, it amplified that to the max. I mean, it really made him look like a sociopath, psycho, narcissistic demon, whatever you want to call it. Whatever word you can come up and use, Diddy represents that. From a teenager at a prep school to making his way to Andre Harrell, to, getting fired by Andre Harrell. Andre Harrell saying, hey, you can take Biggie, but you got to pay for his album, which I feel like Andre Harrell probably, that was one of his biggest mistakes. To, going to Arista, Clive Davis, creating Bad Boy Entertainment. Y'all, insane. I just got to say, 50 and, Netflix, the other woman who I think either co-directed or co-produced, just my personal opinion, 10 out of 10 documentary in a way that is not like, not good for Diddy, although obviously this is not finna do anything as far as his case and all of that. But man, did it paint a very real picture of a psycho. Literally a psycho. Diddy and his team did send cease and desist for the documentary, but I don't think Netflix did anything that was completely illegal or anything like that. I'm not, or as far as how they obtained the footage, like, 50 Cent, they did do a little interview where it was, they kind of talked about it, but didn't really say, how they got the footage.
How do you respond to people who say that it's more about the disdain that you have for Sean Combs than it is for giving the victims a platform?
What they consider a pre-existing beef, right, for 20 years, right, is me being uncomfortable with him suggesting that he takes me shopping, or I looked at it like it was like a tester, like maybe you'll come play with me type of thing, right? And it's not personal.
So check this out, right? One of the main things I wanted to go over was how Diddy got his fame in the first place. Y'all got to remember, Diddy came from a prep school. He was dancing in the background of videos. He found his way into the industry at the time where you could only get to the industry through Andre Harrell and Russell Simmons, at least as far as hip hop. Which, crazy thing about that, some of those pictures that they were showing some of those pictures that they were showing of Diddy and Andre Harrell back then, I'm not even gonna lie, they were just a little too hugged up for me. I was at one point I was thinking they were sleeping together, but that's neither here or there, right? So if y'all watch the first episode, you know that there was a stampede where the co-founder of Bad Boy, he was like, Diddy over promoted, um, and it brought out 5,000 people to a venue or a gym that can only fit roughly 2,000, right? So this happened December 28th, 1991. Tragic incident at a celebrity basketball game where 29 young people were injured and 9 people were killed when a crowd tried to enter the oversold event. So basically, they just tried to bum rush the door. They were telling them that y'all not gonna fit, it's packed out, and they bum rushed the door, right? A lot of people, like when I was seeing comments on TikTok, people was like Travis Scott. I was thinking about Travis Scott. This is actually the staircase where it happened at, because people were stuck down here at the bottom. So they bum rushed it and literally stampeded and stomped over people who were stuck down there and killed 9 people. What's even crazier about this, y'all, that when Diddy created Bad Boy Entertainment under Arista through Clive Davis, he put 75% of the company in his mom's name. He put the other 25% in the co-founder of Bad Boy. He did it so he wouldn't have to pay any of the families money for something that was basically his fault from this stampede. Sick shit, right? And it goes to the whole thing about Biggie's funeral as well, because that's like one of the biggest topics from the documentary, is that when Biggie died, he made Biggie in his death pay for his own funeral. Insane stuff, right? Insane stuff. So this is what I really wanted to touch on from this right here, right? So it said, ultimately the crowd grew. 9 people at the bottom of the staircase were crushed to death. Victims ranged in age from 15 to 28, right? So it says, following the tragedy and the fact that it drew headlines around the world, no criminal charges were filed. However, multiple wrong death and personal injury lawsuits were filed. Check this out. So it's reported that in 1998, Combs paid around $750,000 of a total of $3.8 million to settle claims made by relatives of the victims, right? It says court documents revealed that Combs and Heavy D bore 50% of the responsibility for the deaths and injuries. Jason Swain, who was at the event and also lost his older brother, told the New York Post that Combs never really owned up to it, never apologized, didn't do anything. I mean, if you see the documentary and you see him walking around in that all white, he was in all white. He had the demeanor of like, well, damn, it's kind of crazy to see, right? But what really caught my eye, and even Eric Sermon and all of them in the documentary said it as well, they said without this happening, there wouldn't even be a Diddy as famous as he was at that time. This was in 1991. 1991. It said that this was the biggest news ever. And this is how he got famous. Was that game and those deaths. That was the beginning of Puff Daddy. Y'all, the man, just in the first 2 episodes, he has 12 bodies. He has 12 bodies connected to his name, is what I'm trying to say. He has the blood of 12 dead people on his hands. 9 from this event. He literally became famous off of 9 people dying and, you know, not giving a damn. In 1990, he wasn't known for anything in 1991. He was already connected, yeah, throwing parties, doing what he was doing. But outside of that, he was nothing. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to be like the rappers. He had a real deal obsession with wanting to be like the rappers, which if you watch the documentary, that is what fueled him to take out Pac and Biggie. But it almost seems like how people was relating it to the Travis Scott thing, you know, in a sense, that's like a sacrifice. That was like a sacrifice for fame. Just in the first 2 episodes, he already had the blood of like 11 to 12 people on his hands. Think about that. I don't have much to show y'all in this one, but y'all remember this. When Biggie was like, I'm scared. I'm waking up every morning thinking someone is trying to kill me. When he didn't even realize that the person you with all day, every day is the one trying to kill you.
That's how real it is. I think somebody's trying to kill me. I'll be waking up paranoid. I'll be really scared. I'll just be paro. That's just the way I am. You know. You be seeing me. Scared to death.
Scared to death. Because Diddy was a menace. Diddy set up, I mean, the documentary basically told you that Diddy was responsible for Pac getting shot 5 times. And we already know that. Some of this stuff we already know. You know, let's say we do away with the conspiracy that Pac is still alive, Biggie is still alive. Let's say those conspiracies don't exist and they died straight up the way that they told us. This man is responsible for both of them. Both. Obsessed with, you know, Pac and Biggie's relationship. Obsessed with just being a star in general. I mean, he was happy when Biggie died. When he had that hit with Biggie's wife, old girl, I can't get it off the top of my tongue right now. After Biggie died in 97, when he had that hit, he did an interview. He was so excited. He was smiling. He couldn't believe it that he was the star now. He was the rapper now. He was like, yeah, you know, people lining up to come see me and saying the words. Like he was excited that he was the main guy. He took out the main 2. He tried to take out Pac when they shot him 5 times at the Quad Studios. Let's dismiss all of the other conspiracies. If we dismiss all of those conspiracies, it comes down to Diddy. Rather, you know, you want to believe Keefe D and all of that stuff. Remember, Keefe D did the interview with that one detective, and he told the entire story that Diddy put up $1 million to kill Pac and Suge, but supposedly only 500,000 was paid through a mutual acquaintance, and it never actually got to Keefe D because they only got Pac. And then in another song that they showed in a documentary, Diddy in the beginning of the song was saying, you know, you F with me, I put $1 million on your head. I mean, if we want to do away with all the other theories of Pac and Biggie's death, literally this man is responsible. Biggie would not have died if Diddy didn't sign under Arista Records with Clive Davis. It shows you how Diddy was able to put himself into everybody's videos, you know, so he could pay himself as an artist. Long as he was in the video jumping around, he could pay himself as an artist and continue to cut out Craig Mack, cut out Biggie, cut out the rest of the artists. And he was mostly just getting all that check. He learned that from Clive Davis. Everything starts when he signed him and Biggie to Arista under Clive Davis. Clive Davis taught him a lot of the ways of the industry, how to get him and Clive even more richer. Clive was basically sitting in the background like this. He said, wow, I got this young black man to infiltrate hip hop, make me some money, and I'm going to show him how to make him some money. We both win. We don't care about nothing else. Remember, they told Diddy, you are the most important. When Diddy had Jodeci and Mary J. Blige, they told Diddy, without you, nothing happens. And that was before he even went to Arista. So he had already had that mindset in his head. Basically, a whole psycho that orchestrated the deaths of Tupac and Biggie. Remember, we're not even going to talk about any conspiracies, we're just talking about the documentary. I mean, plain proof. It's plain as day, from forcing Biggie to stay in LA. And then he actually lied. He actually lied about it. Y'all know he forced Biggie to stay in LA. He stole the magazine. What magazine was that? Y'all, if y'all watch the documentary, y'all remember he basically canceled Biggie from appearing on the cover. And once Biggie died, he himself appeared on that cover. Forced Biggie to stay in LA. And then afterwards, he lied about it and said, I was just following Biggie Small's lead. Biggie wanted to do this and do that, when really the entire time he was the one, pulling his card, power tripping, forced Biggie to stay to set up the death. Same thing with Pac. Literally set up both of the most important deaths in hip hop. That's why I said we're talking about the documentary, and I'm not even going to bring up any other theories about Pac, having two Pacs, being a body double, having another body double, which are things that I still believe are true. But I don't know, man. All I have to say is that documentary for me was 10 out of 10. And it really showed you that Diddy was like this prep school guy, teenager that, what I'm saying, had kind of like a decent upbringing and stuff. And the entire time, copying Alpo with the pitting girls and him having sex up on the screen. Like, he really wanted to be a gangster. He really wanted to be a rapper, but he was neither. And that was his goal, getting the biggest artist out the way so he could completely become that. Like in the documentary, they call he was just a paper gangster. That's it. But had really big dreams of wanting to be Biggie, like jealous of his own artist that he is signed. Man, really psycho, y'all. This documentary, I was just sitting there like, damn, like, I already knew I had to talk about this. I mean, a lot of this stuff we already know, but I just love the way they put it together, and it really laid out the timeline, and you could really see where he started. Like, the only thing I would give credit to Diddy is that they was right. We won't see another Diddy again. The credit I can give him is, yeah, you have to be one psycho narcissistic dude to do what Diddy did, and climb the ladder the way that he did, inserted himself in something the way that he did. You have to be willing to be him. If you're not willing to do that, you will never do it the way that he did it. And then there are a very small amount of people who are willing to do what Diddy did to become who he became. That's the only credit I can give him. And that's not good credit. That's nothing good. But you have to be a damn psycho. You have to be a psycho, y'all. All right, man. I think I pretty much covered everything I wanted to cover from it. Yeah, y'all have at it in the comments, man. Run the likes up on this one. Y'all already know what's going on. We'll be back with another video tomorrow, man. With that being said, y'all, it's Black Bloom, and I'm gonna see y'all soon. All right, I'm out.